lot to write about. Trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist. Am I worth anything or just discount? I don't know.
That was a great sound of Watts with Outside on WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Preston, with my partner in crime, Long Island raised, Elm City made, EZ BlueZ is in the building. EZ BlueZ, you're better with introductions more than me. Who do we have with us today on Behind the Brand?
Ladies and gentlemen, coming out of the pandemic, a lot of us are going and walking through and trying to figure out how we can find our antidepressants. And, although the answers don't come easy, they can never truly replace what singing in the shower and liberating ourselves can truly do. And for that and that alone, I would like to thank this next artist who has truly taken that journey and wore it upon his artistic sleeves. So I want you to put your hands together, not if you're driving. Please keep your hands at 10 and 2, for we do not need any accidents. But mentally, put your hands together for the fantastic, the amazing, the absolutely just downright wonderful, down-home type of guy known as Cuchulain. How are you?
Hey, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Preston. Thank you, Easy, for that incredible intro. That was hilarious. I've never had an intro like that before where... Wow, yeah, that was very well done. Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm honored to be here. Thanks for having me on this show. I'm tuning in from my home in Eugene, Oregon, and my very cute dog, Willie Dog Nelson, who is the muse for at least one of the tracks that I think you just mentioned. He's sitting right next to me on the floor here. So, yeah, stoked to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's great to have you here, man.
Some people say that dogs are antidepressants. So
that's right. Exactly.
Oh, definitely. Dogs are the best therapists. They you can talk to them about anything. They will not judge you. All you got to do is give them some back rubs, some food, and you got the best friend in the world. But just tell Easy and belly rubs, but they just like to be pet. They're dogs, man.
I see, we're making it happen. But no, it's truly incredible because we are out in New Haven, so the scene and is this type of way. But if you look through the annals of music history, a lot of history has come out of the West Coast. A lot of history has come out of Seattle and Washington itself. What is the vibe out there? And do you have any aspirations of jumping across the aisle here and come and hang out in New Haven one of these days?
The answer is totally yes. Okay, so a two-part question. What's the vibe out on the West Coast? And will I ever come hang in New Haven? Yes. Definitely not with you goofballs. No, I'm just kidding. I'll just hang with you goofballs. Question. So the vibe, okay, out here, it's starting to get the rainy season's rolling in. It's and by the rainy season in the Pacific Northwest, for anybody who hasn't been here, that lasts from approximately October to June. So here we are in October, and the rain has started, and it's it's not for everybody, but I personally love it. And it makes for some really great music, I think, because you're kind of stuck inside. Kind of dealing with the grays and the blues of the outside. And I dare say I'm not sure this next record that I've got coming out could have been made in, Hawaii, if I were living in Hawaii, with a song like Antidepressants on it. The scene's rad here, man. We just, I just played in Seattle and Portland and Eugene and San Francisco on this tour that I kind of just wrapped up a couple weeks ago. Actually the tour was a big national tour. So believe it or not, Easy and Preston, I was in New Haven. I played at this place called Never Ending Books, which I just want to...
We've been there. Yeah.
Been there? Okay. I love that spot. It's like this anarcho-communist, anti-establishment bookstore that's only donations based on State Street, I want to say. And they absolutely rule. The people there treated me super well. We had kind of a packed house, and it was a very, very good vibe. That was on a Thursday. It was right between my New York show and my Boston show, I remember.
Nice.
And and they bought my last T-shirt. I remember the New York show. They cleaned me out of everything but one large T-shirt. And so when I was at the New Haven show up on stage at Neverending Books, I was like, "We have CDs and posters and shirt for sale." And someone bought the shirt. So yeah, I love New Haven. I'd love to come back. I currently have no plans to, but I would love to change that.
Well, you've got the new
Definitely.
album coming out, so there's definitely potential for it. You already have, a history of being kind of out here anyway, and Neverending Books is just a fantastic place to be. We are big fans of Neverending Books. But I think what's incredible is, a lot of people will look at, and that's one of the reasons why we have this show. A lot of people are looking at success, especially in an entertainment industry, kind of as you have that big house on, to data all of us, MTV Cribs, and everything is awesome. And look, it's more like the Red Man episode than anything else, where it really is just an average house that everything can be there. We love to tell the story on how you can. Being successful in this industry is not having the huge house and the huge car. Being successful in this industry is doing what you love to do and being able to support yourself, your family, and your amazing dog. How has that been your journey, and how did you get there? Because from the style of music, I'll be honest with you, I listened to some of the stuff prior, and I was not expecting you. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So how did you wind up getting within the music industry itself, and what made you choose the independent life?
How did I get in the music industry? I've just been kind of playing music my whole life. Sorry, my wife almost walked onto the Zoom camera.
That's fine. Hello, Mrs. Cuchulain.
Mrs. Cuchulain. Hello, Mrs. Cuchulain. Says the radio people of New Haven. She has no response for you. Speaking of Cribs,
that's about right.
She has, So speaking of Cribs, this is welcome to the place where the magic happens.
Nice.
I thought this was an episode of Cribs. Is that not what this is?
I mean, we can make it like a little episode.
It
of
is
Cribs.
now.
You have a nice background. We see the great guitar, the piano. I think there's like a little award up top that window. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, this is like this award right here. It's kind of an award. It's when we made our first CD. I think CD Baby mailed us a like a little plaque that was like, "Oh, you made your first CD" or whatever. And so it's like, I guess it's an award to our former selves, I guess. I loved what you said, Easy, about success being able to support yourself and do what you love to do. I mean, I'm going to try and tie this all together right now and say,
of course.
Here we are in the Cribs tour of the music room, which is just the bedroom of my house that we rent in Eugene, Oregon, and everything that you see here, from these sound panels to this piano or this guitar or some of the things behind me, I either made or got for like a bargain, and that's part of the joy for me, is like the whole DIY aspect of it. I love working on it. I love the process. The release is great, and connecting with people is kind of the whole point. But yeah, the whole money thing, I honestly don't want a lot of money. I want enough money to be able to make the stuff I want to make, and to be able to support my family, which currently is this dog that you may or may not be able to hear chewing on a bone right next to me, and my wife who almost walked onto the camera in a bathrobe.
Oh no, that's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother.
Yeah.
This is I was told no profanity and keep it PG for the radio.
Yes.
So
Respect it. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, okay, I'm just kind of rambling here. The original question, Easy, was how did I get here? How
did you get into, especially the style in which you're doing music wise? It is it's, easily we turn on the radio, we're hearing the same stuff over and over again that's so recycled and regurgitated, and yes, Uncle Frank Zappa said it the best, all original music's already been done by dead people in powdered wigs. But
Totally.
how did you wind up in this journey of your style itself? And and now after that, since we've already rambled, how also did we land upon the name?
Yeah. Well, the name actually is a lot easier. It's just that is what my name is. Cuchulain is my given legal first name, Cuchulain.
Okay.
And it's a weird name. It's an old Irish name. It's an Irish myth. It's kind of like the Hercules of Ireland, if you will. Cuchulain, or how it's more often pronounced over yonder in Ireland, or Cuchulain, means the Hound of Cullen, which is like this ancient province, basically where Belfast, Northern Ireland is, and Cuchulain is like this, this very strong dude that kind of defended Ireland from invaders, and it has become, since the 20th century, a symbol of Irish nationalist pride and strength and stuff like that. And my parents were Irish American. I was raised Irish Catholic. They got really into the whole Irish thing. So my parents decided to name me Cuchulain, and forever cursed me for people in substitute teachers in classrooms, in deli counters, and say even on local independent radio shows to have trouble pronouncing it for the first several times that they pronounce it. And so it's just my real name, and I was like, man, it's a really cool name. It's hard to figure out, but once you figure it out, it's usually stuck there. A lot of artists, in hindsight, it maybe would have been better to have like a stage name that was like cool, like Smoke and Steel, or something like that, or whatever, or like something really like intriguing, like Death Melon or something, but Cuchulain is just like the first album that I've got under this name was in 2016. I was just like, this is how I feel. This is a representation of me. It's just the artist is going to be me, Cuchulain, and the album was also called Cuchulain. So that's the name. That was a very long-winded way of saying it's the only one I got easy. So I'm nothing with it.
No, but there's so many different dimensions behind that. Like, let's be honest.
I agree.
The name comes from this really cool folklore that comes from Ireland, and that this paid tribute so much so that there was the character in the show about the dragons, Game of Thrones, that was called the Hound. Like,
totally.
So let's be real. I mean, there's it's a really cool name to get saddled with. And I also, my legal last name is kind of very similar to that, where any type of substitute would be like, or at DMV, Mr. No, that's me. That's me.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Right.
I know that's me.
So
exactly. I
I
totally get that. And I love the fact that you're owning it.
Totally.
Now, as
you just kind of blew my mind. Sorry to interrupt, Easy. You kind of just blew my mind that I think you're right. I think the Hound in Game of Thrones is kind of, because that figure of like this like super strongman protector dude who like gets eaten up and eventually has to sacrifice himself to save everybody else. That is the Cuchulain like tale. So wow, I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan, and just now until you just said that, Easy, I did not even think about that.
I just made that up. I
think you're right. I think you're right.
Easy, you got to own that, man. You got to own that. Don't just say you made it. You got to own it.
All right. Well, George MMSS, whatever his name is, Martin. He calls me all the time. We're friends. We shot. To quote, Ken Jeong. We shop at the same BJ's. So everyone, we share a membership.
Can you ask George the next time you talk with him? Can you ask him when he's going to come out with the next books?
he actually said 3 weeks close to never, and the third Thursday of every week.
Dang. Okay. Cool. That's what I thought.
George R.R. Martin.
Oh.
Sorry, I do my little nerd thing. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hold it to get the whole energy off.
Thank you for fact checking.
Yeah, you never know. It's gonna be that one person. So
and
it's gonna be yelling.
And what do we tell that person? And what do we tell that person?
I'm gonna tell that person, thank you for watching.
Right.
That's
But
what,
if
that's what I'm
anyone
gonna
has
tell that
any
person, man.
problem,
I'm done reading hate mail. Don't send the hate mail to Preston. It will be ignored. I'm just gonna say thank you for watching
Dang.
and thank you for being a part of this experience.
Dang.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Sorry,
And
Preston, if you get a lot of hate mail. That's a bummer.
I
he gets
mean,
my hate mail
hate mail, hate comments.
because I don't look at it.
Hmm.
Listen. Oh
Dang.
my goodness. How do you handle the haters? How do you handle hecklers being a musician going out there,
How do
especially on the West Coast? I heard it's a tough crowd out there.
it kind of depends on the city.
Mhm.
To be completely honest, my shtick when I'm on tour, so I
Yeah.
usually, when I'm in town, I play with a band. But usually in the past couple of years, I've been touring solo, and
Cool.
my shtick is very participatory with the audience. I crack a lot of jokes, and a lot of
Nice.
my, perhaps, I don't know if Easy could tell. I don't know. I guess the song "Antidepressants," which is the most recent single, it kind of toes the line between being depressing and uh, maybe very funny. What's weird in live shows is that people kind of don't really know if they should laugh uproariously or cry during that song. It's very polarizing. What I'm trying to say is that people heckle me all the time in performances, and actually, I kind of encourage it in performances.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I ask a lot of questions of the audience, and try and incorporate some of that into some of the performances, into some of the lyrics sometimes. Um, but yeah, I welcome hecklers. Do I welcome haters? I feel like haters and hecklers are two different things.
Mm-hmm.
They could
I,
be,
I,
yeah. They could be when you think about it. Yeah, because sometimes hecklers just want to just be a part of the show. Sometimes it's
yeah,
like, I don't know. Like I kind of been a couple Easy shows, and Easy will just entertain and just dance them to death.
right,
Yep.
right,
Because
yeah,
like a singer in a band. So
Yeah.
like different people handle it, some people take it to heart, some people not take it to heart. I like
yeah.
your answer though, because you don't take it to heart, you make it part of the show, which I think is
Well,
very professional.
the thing about, I
Mhm.
guess, I don't know, my show and
Yeah.
me being up on stage is that a lot of my humor is pretty self-deprecating. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
if you're heckling me in earnest, like hate on me, like you're not going to do it any better than what I'm already doing to myself. So yeah,
Mm.
y'all just join the club. But most of the heckling is very positive. I guess I'm very fortunate to not have encountered too many haters. I was just trying to think about, like, have I encountered haters? And I'd say the place that I've encountered haters most of all is online. I've like
Always.
a couple of years back, I got like very low level viral on TikTok a couple times, and when that happens,
Yeah.
it's just like it like you know it like attracts all of these comments from like all kinds of people that are just like they have no idea who you are, and they're just saying whatever they want to say. I'm like, whoa, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I just gotta ignore that, separate myself from that, and just focus on doing what I want to do and what I know how to do best.
Mm.
So yeah,
I actually have some advice for when dealing with the haters online because they're so safe. I mean,
yeah,
let's be honest. I mean, we're safe right now hiding behind keyboards as well, but
mm,
they're so
Mhm.
safe because they don't have to deal with the natural repercussions. But when you start thanking them, they
mm,
start to really freak out.
mm,
Anytime that I get something that goes somewhat viral on TikTok or
mm-hmm,
Instagram or something like that, and the haters come flushing and rushing into the comments, I'm like, hey, thank you for expanding my reach into the algorithm.
yeah,
You are my number one fan today.
huh,
And I just wanted to really thank you for that.
huh,
Because of your hard work that I am now reaching more people.
huh, smart,
They don't like that at all.
huh,
But it seems to fit really well in your shtick.
mm-hmm,
So maybe you just take
yeah,
some of that stage banter,
I dig that,
online and make them cry. No, or make them feel insecure enough that they have to take
huh,
antidepressants while listening to your incredible
ah,
single, Antidepressants.
thanks, man, appreciate that, yeah,
I like what you did there. I really do.
appreciate that, Easy. Yeah, I feel like even on online in the comments, I feel like it's just and responding to audience members or fans or family members or whoever's listening to your music, it's just all about being honest.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's, if that's true, like, hey, you're my number one fan today because you're the only one commenting on my stuff today. Thank you. Like
Word.
that's honest, and
Yeah.
you're just saying, you're treating them like a human being as opposed to like
Mhm.
a faceless whatever on that. So yeah, no, I appreciate that, Easy. And
No problem. That's what we're here for.
thanks for plugging the single, by the way.
We do
Hey,
what we do
really,
best, man.
yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm real good at the cheap pops and promotional things there. Self promotion. I am a words I can't say technically on the radio, but we'll say a lady of the night when it comes down to self promotion.
Okay.
Self-promotion like WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven, myself, Preston, with my partner in crime, Long Island Raised, Elm City made, EZ Blues is in the building. We got Cuchulain right here with us on Behind the Brand, representing the West Coast. We got a little East Coast, West Coast love. Easy. What's on your mind, buddy? What's on your mind? What is on your mind?
So I love that you're 100% honest when it comes down to it, and one of the biggest songwriters that I love to quote on this show is Bob Dylan. If you're going to be an outlaw, you better be honest. What made you want to be honest with your songs, and really with the journey of just times life isn't great, but if we put a catchy melody to it and you can dance along to it, what brought you on that journey?
Dude, you've been asking. This is like the third time you've asked this question.
I've asked this question, but I've dressed it up differently every time.
And I've been just kind of like
playing the
dodging
home game. Yeah, this way the people playing the home game wouldn't have known. Thanks for exposing us.
Right? No. I'm exposing myself
behind the curtain.
Right? No. I appreciate you asking this question, and I'm the one who's being like kind of a nincompoop and not answering the question. Dude, Bob Dylan. It's funny you should Bob Dylan, because he was definitely one of my first musical loves. I remember putting on that movie Martin Scorsese made, No Direction Home. I had the soundtrack and would go to sleep to that in elementary school and middle school. It's so many of his songs just like felt like they just like cut straight to the core of things, and just felt like they were a movie but in a song. He's a huge reason I do what I do. I grew up in rural South Carolina. I'm from Rock Hill, South Carolina. Even before that, before living in Rock Hill, I lived the first 11 years of my life in Sharon, South Carolina, where our nearest neighbor was a mile away, and we had like cows and chickens and goats. Yeah. Did you grow up in a rural spot, Preston?
I was born in Virginia. So like the first couple years of my life, because it's crazy because my memory's like I remember stuff when I was like 3 years old, so it was like really insane. I had to be with my parents, and like the nearest like stores and everything was just like miles and miles ahead. It was just like open land, so like I had to decide my own fun. So I had to play with dogs and just like go out there and just try to find the nearest person to connect with. And
totally.
Yeah, you just got to make it happen yourself. Know when you're down there. It's not like the luxury of being in a city area, where like a lot of stuff is close to you. So a lot of people don't see like the good stuff in front of them, because down south like, it's open. It really is.
You have to amuse yourself. I remember making up songs, playing around outside for hours as a kid, and you have all this time that you don't really have in cities, where you have to go to the grocery store. It's like it might be like a half-hour drive. Go to school, it might be like 45 an hour. So you just like you get to like daydream, think about what people said, think about what you said to people, think about your crush, or all these important. I think it's definitely that rural upbringing is a big part of my sound, big part of this like folksy country Americana thing that I'm doing. Growing up in the South was a big part of that. Singing in church choir and just being this kind of like daydreamy, I don't know, rural kid is a big part of, I think, how I sound, where that comes from. Started singing in choirs and playing in bands in middle school and high school and stuff like that, all through college. Sang in a cappella and taught myself most of the instruments that I play.
Cool.
And then just kind of started writing songs in my like late teenage years. And was been playing kind of folk music for a while. Something about a guitar and acoustic instruments. have kind of always drawn me. Don't get me wrong, I can get down with like a trap beat and like electronic EDM stuff. I don't really know how to make that well, or make it sound compelling. But I just I love acoustic instruments, and
Right.
yeah, I don't know, something about I guess my mom really loved Elton John and Jimmy Buffett and Billy Joel and Cat Stevens and Bob Dylan. And those singers are a huge part of, I think, my internal like melody harmony clock that ticks inside me.
The funny part, they're all solo artists too. And it's funny because like we're picking back off what you said. Well, I'm picking back, not easy. I'm picking that back off what you said a little bit earlier in the broadcast about crowd control. Like Billy Joel, I seen like one of his concerts like on YouTube. Oh my God, that man can conduct an army.
Yeah.
Like he's so good when it comes to just like getting command from the crowd and then like the people behind him. Like it's insane. So like when you mention those people, it makes sense.
Well, what's interesting is a lot of that comes from playing the smaller shows. If there wasn't we heard it in the song Piano Man, but if he wasn't playing that piano bar on, a Friday night with a whole bunch of people that were just there to drink for no other reason than they were miserable, you would not be able to control an audience at Madison Square Garden. I say this all the time. The people that fully last are the people that are out there grinding the whole time, playing the never-ending books, playing, those spots that have more tiny and can deal it more on that every person basis, because then, when someone's 2 feet from you and could possibly punch you in the jaw and tells you where to go, it's a lot. You've got to be a lot more than someone who's got to go through 9 layers of security, 30,000 people, and hopefully, jump up onto the stage to get you there. It's a lot easier to be like, hey, buddy, good luck,
Yeah.
But when you're dealing with it on the smaller basis, it's a lot realer. And again, we don't pour salt in anyone else's hustle. These other artists have worked their entire careers to play these type of events. I would give certain parts of anatomy to play these type of events. And yes, I am somewhat a bitter, jealous musician. And, we'll put the haterade on and be like, but why not me? You know? So I truly understand that, but you actually take that and it's not an act for you. Where, you have the self-deprecation aspect of it that applies to your songwriting as well. That is a piece of your actual personality. We talk about it on the show a lot. To truly market yourself properly is to follow the professional wrestling guide. And it's taking your own personality and turning it up to 11 and just being super you, How did you stumble on? Yeah. How do you stumble on that? Oscar Wilde. Yes. There we go.
You know the quote where it's like, be yourself, everybody else is already taken.
Yep.
From Oscar Wilde. And then I teach a bunch. I teach all kinds of different musical instruments and also songwriting, and in my songwriting courses, one of which, by the way, is coming up here in October. Online on Zoom if anybody wants to tune in. But one of the things that we teach using this book by a friend of mine, wrote it, Mike Errico, the field guide for the advancing songwriter, music, lyrics, and life, or something like that. I think that's the title. I've got it here. Anyways, he says basically that, like, take yourself and turn it up to 11, to be as you can be, and the more you are, the more satisfied you're going to be with your product, and then also people will see that, hear it reflected back in themselves, and identify with it. And maybe it's not going to sound like Dua Lipa, maybe it's not going to sound like Katy Perry, maybe it's not going to sound like all the stuff that Morgan Wallen, like the artists that you hear on the radio, but they're doing them, they're sounding like them, and that's great. And only someone can sound like Easy, only someone can sound like Cuchulain. That's kind of what I'm trying to do with this record. This I guess I should maybe say a little something about this record, and that is that so Antidepressants is the second single off of it. First one was called New Year, New You, and it came out in is it in August? No, I think it was like Labor Day weekend, like September or something. This album is 20 minutes long and it's 20 songs long. Each song is pretty much exactly 60 seconds. It's called Minute to Win It. And maybe this is me being as me as possible. Who knows? I'm kind of obsessed with time these days ever since the pandemic. And also my attention span seems to be shortening the more I spend time on my phone. So I was like, okay, let me just, I can't deal with 2-minute songs. And I'm just going to see how much song I can pack into a minute. The album is called Minute to Win It. And well, without spelling it out, here I go. I'm just spelling it out for everybody. The TikTok and social media are ruling the music industry right now, and you might as well keep it short and sweet. Shorter the better. And also, Spotify monetizes after 30 seconds. So why would I give you 7 minutes of song? I'm just kidding. The next album that's coming out next year has like a 6-minute song on it. So I'm contradicting myself. But,
well, you are, but you aren't. Hold on, because I want to give you a little bit of flowers for that, because it's something that we've been talking about on this show for a long time. The music industry has completely evolved and at some points devolved. And there are so many other ways that now we can go out there and put our music out for the entire world to listen to. And catering to TikTok is not a bad thing. When we shot our last music video, I was literally in the director's face saying, every 15 seconds, something has to change. If the image is static for 15 seconds, we're done. We have 15 seconds worth of an attention span to catch that viewer, and that's it. So every 15 seconds better change. And actually was one of our most successful music videos because we were catering to the audience, because we understood what was necessary. Now, we still were able to say what we wanted to say. Yeah. We just did it in, more of a super digestible TikTok Freudian type of way. Yes, we're going to coin that word now too. TikTok Freudian. It's going to be on the new Behind the Brand shirts.
TikTok Freudian. Yeah. Dude, I so appreciate there is that pressure to be like, well, not only for the audience, but for myself. If 15 seconds things are the same, I'm bored, and so I have to keep myself excited about this stuff. Currently, so the music's been done for almost a year, but and it's coming out. The full album's out November 3rd, which holy moly is coming up. That's just over a month away. We've got one more single coming out on Halloween weekend. It's kind of a nice, cute Halloween thing called One Candy Bar, and it's based on a true story. And can
you give a little background on that story, because that kind of put myself in easy.
Okay, well,
I hope it's a miniature candy bar because it fits the theme of the record.
Oh man, that'd be great.
Everything about this record is small, and
I love it. I love it. This is great.
What candy bar was it? Was it please tell us what candy bar.
Go ahead. It was a Snickers. So
I was gonna say that too. Oh, okay.
So do you guys? My wife, the one who almost walked in on the Zoom call in a bathrobe, she's a sociologist.
Okay, cool.
And for the listeners who are tuning in right now, being like, "Oh, what? A sociologist?" I dig it, because she's been doing this program for 5 years, and I only figured out a couple weeks ago what she's been doing this whole time. In short, if I can explain sociology, it's like you go and you study. It's academia. You study a group of people, you take notes, and you tell other people what that first group of people. And when I figured that out, I was like, man, I could do that. Yeah, how hard is that, So the song One Candy Bar is kind of my field report, my notes from Halloween last year, when this one kid, it was just this one like fraction of a moment that I observed. And is this one kid, he had already taken a candy bar out of the pot. And the rule was, every kid gets one candy bar per kid. And I asked him, "Did you already get your candy bar?" and I saw him pause for like 2 seconds, stare at me, and I could see the gears in his head turning, like, do I tell the truth? Because I'm supposed to tell the truth and I'm be a good person, or do I lie? And do I get an extra candy bar? Because I could tell this guy whatever, and I can get an extra candy bar, and it's great. And ultimately, after 5 seconds of like sitting there like debating his options, he was like, "Yes, I already got my candy bar," and then he ran away. But he only got one candy bar for telling the truth. He didn't get rewarded for telling the truth, which was just like this little teeny tiny little moment that's the story of the song. The song is 45 seconds long.
Well, no, but see, I love that story too, because it goes back to the Chris Rock skit many moons ago, and we'll date ourselves for this. Everyone wants that credit for just doing the right thing. I've never been to jail. You're not supposed to go to jail. I take care of my kids. You're supposed to take care of your kids. I didn't lie about getting that candy bar. You're not supposed to lie about getting that candy bar. So to expect an award or a reward for something that you're just genuinely supposed to do, it's a little silly. It's a little silly. So I love the fact that the kid didn't get an extra candy bar. I love the fact that the reality is, he did the right thing, and he did the right thing only because it was the right thing to do.
So that's what I hope the song makes people feel. It's just a little teeny tiny little story. This whole album, Minute to Win It, is just teeny tiny little stories, little vignettes, and the idea is it's going to be a visual album, so each one is going to have a little music video that hopefully loosely ties together into like a little movie.
How sold are you on Minute to Win It?
Minute to Win It.
Is it like is all the promotion stuff already out?
All the promotion stuff's already out. Vignette to win it. Vignette to win it. Woohoo! Wow, easy. I might use that. Maybe that's the name of the movie. Vignette to win it.
Let's go. Giddy
There's
up.
the album's Minute to Win It. Vignette to win it. Wow. Dig it. Dig it.
It's the 20 video compilation, kind of similar to Trapped in the Closet. That's what you're gonna do.
Trapped in the Closet. Wow, I forgot about that.
Speaking of videos, there's a video on YouTube called "Sing in the Shower." How stressful was it filming it? Because you had to film yourself in 4 different positions in that bathroom with different instruments. Was it crazy filming it? Please tell me about that process.
So the filming was actually not the hard part. It was the cloning myself and then getting rid of all the clones. That was the really hard part.
Okay.
Pig farm work. Pig farm work.
No, I'm just kidding. For those of you who are listening in right now, he's describing probably my most viewed YouTube thing, which was my Tiny Desk contest submission 2 years ago. And what I did was I played 4 different instruments in my bathroom. I'd say the most stressful part about that, it wasn't the turning the shower on and getting wet during one of the takes. It wasn't the cramming myself into different corners playing the song. It was I had to take over the bathroom for like 4 hours, and there's only one bathroom in this house. And so my wife was not super stoked about that, but she was very supportive and very understanding. And also, like, I couldn't really use the bathroom for 4 hours. It was just like, okay, there's a time pressure here. We got to get right. I got like max 2 takes on this, and we got to move on to the next thing. And but the NPR folks seem to like that, and I don't know, cool. the Tiny Desk contest community has been very, very supportive and wonderful to me over the past. I've submitted a video to the NPR Tiny Desk contest every year that it's been out. Still haven't won. I don't expect to win. But getting back to what you said earlier, Easy, it's not about winning. It's about how you play them out.
And it just seems like you won because it was a job well done with the video. I mean, you really took your time with it. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah. And shout out to NPR. They're doing a great job with musicians. I mean, just with the whole, I forgot, like little small like classroom they have with the little like
the
tiny desk stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
doing a great job.
Quick shout out to Bob Boylan, the creator of All Songs Considered in Tiny Desk. He just announced his retirement last week. And after 35 years of kind of changing the scene for independent music in America and the worldly. So
yeah, seriously.
I've
pour one out for the homie.
Yeah, I've never met him. I've been in the same space as him a couple times, but I'm just extremely grateful to him. I used to live in DC. I lived in DC for about 4 years, from 2014 to 2018. That's kind of where I got my start. DC has this insane, really wonderful house show music scene. And before my band could get like gigs at a venue, we just got gigs in our friend's living room, and 80 people would come pack it and whatever. We'd have a baller time. But Bob Boilen has a special place in my heart, as well as I think everybody on the DC music scene, and much more than that, people around the world. I want to take this moment to thank that dude for doing everything that he's done for music. Honestly.
And I want to take this moment to say WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven, myself, Preston, and my partner in crime, Long Island Rays, Elm City made EZ BlueZ is in the building with the nice moves. EZ BlueZ.
Nice.
Macarena, bro. Macarena.
Oh, man, Macarena. Woo, I'm old.
You got to. Look, at any point in time, if I can Macarena, I'm going to Macarena. But, what's really amazing about the entire thing is you are as much of a music historian as you are as a music contemporary. And I think that is one of the biggest things that we lose when we start to really pursue this as a career. And I love how you also talked about how to supplement your income while being a performing musician. You're not just going out there every single night playing every single bar humanly possible until you're completely done and burnt out and want to go home and cry. You're sitting here, you're establishing classes, you're teaching people not only instrumentation, not only how to play the instrument, not only the theory behind the instrument and the music itself, but how to take that into contemporary writing. What brought that path onto you? Because I think there's a lot of young musicians right now that didn't realize that path is even open and a good way to supplement their income.
Yeah. Well, I love teaching. Thanks for asking that question, Easy. No matter what happens in the future with my music career or my life or whatever, I hope that I get to keep teaching something, because I love teaching. I love working with learners and seeing people grow and gain confidence in a new skill. And I love watching that light come on in people's eyes when they figure something out for the first time, or they get over a hump that they've been really struggling with. I've been teaching in some form or another, like most of my life, tutoring people, teaching music for about a decade, lessons in classrooms, in workshops, songwriting camps. Shout out to DC. Again, I used to, my first songwriting camp called Camps Camp, the CAMPS, Cassiopeia Academy of Music Performance and Songwriting. And those kids in DC hold a special place in my heart for that. The question was, though, Easy, again, I keep skirting around your questions.
It's all right, man. Yeah. I appreciate the journey you're taking us on, and understand that this is kind of like having a conversation with myself. So I'm following, whether the rest of the audience is or not. I don't care, because this is a great conversation.
Yeah, great. We're keeping up track. Everybody's keeping track.
Okay, great.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Preston's he's keeping tabs. She's like, get to the point. Get to the point.
That's not this show. That I know that there's a whole bunch of interview shows. It's like, we've got this time, get to the point and move forward. We're like, if the point lands, that's cool. How are you today? That's kind of like how this show is.
And worst case scenario, we'll just have you on again for a part 2.
There you go.
There we go.
That's all.
Forget about it.
This is good. This is good chemistry. I'm appreciating this. But the real question was, what made you understand that there's how to supplement your income by also still being an artist? You're still a musician. You're just, you're treating it like, as we've always been told, it's not a real job, but here, sir, it's a real job.
Totally. So, I also, before I launch into that, I do want to tell people who might be listening in who are musicians and who want to be a musician, that you don't have to be doing music full time to be a musician. Anybody who's making music by themselves or with their friends or going to a jam session or performing at an open mic, you're a musician, and don't let anybody tell you you're not. And just by making music, you are a musician. And being paid to make music doesn't make me any more of a musician than anybody else. That being said, for anybody who's a weekend warrior, having a day job, and playing music on the side or on nights and weekends, they're musicians. I was doing that for years, and and then somewhere, to be completely honest, when I was growing up, when I was that daydreamy kid in rural South Carolina, I thought I was going to be like a scientist or an engineer or something, because I was a total nerd. I asked for extra homework. I sat at the front of, I was kind of like easy here, just kind of like eager, sitting in the front of class, like ready to take in information from the teacher. And exactly. And I even, did the science and engineer day job thing for like 4 or 5 years there. And somewhere around 2016, I can't really remember what happened that year, but something changed for me, and adding numbers up for someone else didn't really add up for me anymore. And I was like, you know what? I've always wanted to do this music thing and just give it a shot. And I remember I was on a plane back home from some work trip that I was on, and I wrote up my parents this like 5-page letter that was like, hey, Mom and Dad, I kind of want to give it a shot and see if I can do this music thing full time, see if I can pay the bills, see if I can make it sustainable. I'm going to give myself a year. And I remember I had like a budget in there, and I was like, here's why I want to do this. I kind of actually want to go back and read that letter just to see, like,
I was just going to say, I think you should totally go back to that letter and make a record out of it.
Totally. Totally.
Like at least an EP, like a 5-song EP with part of that letter structure in the writing itself. I think that is really cool. And I am a complete and total music nerd. So I would buy that. I would buy that in a heartbeat. I want that on vinyl. I'll be honest. That's how much of a music nerd I am. I feel like that needs to be on vinyl.
Totally. Yeah. You're totally right. There's totally like some emotional weight in that in that letter for me, for sure. I should. That's a great idea. Easy, actually, honestly. But I sent it to them, and my parents were like, "Go for it, dude." And that was I left my day job in May 2019. I said I was going to give it a year, and then if a year goes by, well, everybody knows what happened.
You picked the wrong. You did exactly what we did. With SP, we were like, "Yo, 2020 is our year. It's gonna be what? We can't play any shows. What we can't even practice together. What? Are you kidding me? Like my time." And then the bands that like we were trying to hook up with, so because they were more successful than us and we wanted to steal their thunder, they broke up. So we're like, "Oh, what are we gonna do now?"
It happened to so many bands and artists that I know, and it's just such a like it really was an inflection point, a turning point for so many people. Like bands that I saw, kind of going like this, like on the up and up, on the rise, like had these massive tours planned out, or records they were going to like roll out, and it sounds like maybe you empathize with this, Easy, and then it's just like it would force a change of priorities on people. And anyways,
but I have to force a change of priorities right now.
Exactly. I was just going to say the same thing.
Because the Apollo current is coming in, and we have to reel it, and we have to stop this whole great conversation. But I'd like to get you on again, because I think we only just like scratched the surface.
Also, we should exchange contact information, because I feel like you and I could learn a lot from each other. Totally. And I don't say that to everybody on the show.
Oh, I appreciate that, Easy. Yeah. Thanks, man. Yeah, I totally would love to be. Preston's got my number. Maybe we can get on a group chat.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Just before we get off, just 3 things that you are thankful for, either professionally or personally, and please give your social media information and everything, so someone wants to contact you to reach out to you. Go right ahead.
Totally. Wow. Love that. Maybe I'll do that in reverse. Okay. So, thank you so much, Preston.
Of course.
Social media is going to be Cuchulain Music everywhere. Cuchulain is spelled it's spelled exactly like it doesn't sound. We actually had T-shirts that were like the spelling and pronunciation guides for a little while. Now,
yeah,
those are sold out. But Cuchulain, Cuchulain is how it looks like it's spelled. But Cuchulain, anyways, it's on Instagram, Spotify. I'm all over the internet, all the places you find music people. Man, I love this 3 things you're grateful for. One of the things I love to do with the camps that I'm teaching, and honestly, with most of my friends, is like after we do something big, like do a quick rosebud thorn, and this is so much better because it's just rose, just like the 3 things you're grateful. Okay, 3 things I'm grateful for right now. I'm grateful for people like you who are taking time out of their lives to support independent music.
Appreciate you.
You don't have to be doing this, and you're giving me a platform to spout and ramble and talk about myself and this weird art that I make. So I appreciate that. That's thing number 1. Grateful. Thing number 2 for my dog. Put out. That's right. My dog. I released a song called "My Dog," and that was the tour that we went all around the country and played New Haven for. Yeah, Willie also came with us on that tour, which was it was the best tour. It was awesome. And third thing, I am grateful for just the fact that I get to do this, and I'm alive, I'm healthy, I get to make music, and this is what I have dreamed of doing for a while, and so grateful for the listeners out there who make what I do possible.
Amen.
And so thank you guys so much for having me.
Of course,
we talk
man.
again, great. If not, this was a pleasure.
Definitely.
Oh no, we're gonna talk again. We're best friends now.
It's a pleasure knowing you.
Sweet.
It's a pleasure learning about your journey, and we hope this is the end of honestly chapter 1. We're looking at how chapter 2 is going to sound for you, because you have a great destiny ahead of you. We appreciate your time. You're very welcome on WNHH LP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Preston, with my partner in crime, Long Island raised, Elm City made, EZ Blues. Thank you, everybody.
I wish you would take antidepressants, but I can't tell you that. I wish you would take antidepressants, but I can't tell you that. Your body's your body, your mind is your mind. Sometimes things get a little out of whack. I wish you would take antidepressants, but I can't tell you that. I wish I could take a piece of that monkey and pull it off your back. I wish I could take a piece of that monkey and pull it off your back. Everybody needs a little bit of help when they're under attack. I wish I could take a piece of that monkey and pull it off your back. Because I couldn't make it without you. You could use a comeback. I wish you would take antidepressants.